Hello everyone, this is Hollywood Joe from Hollywood's World of Sports, coming to you from Kayfabe Studios, and today we are here to talk about Fastlane. Fastlane is this coming Sunday, March 10th, live, only on the WWE Network, and I am here to give you the entire rundown. Let's start talking about the tag team division. It's been a really interesting month, after the Royal Rumble, into Elimination Chamber, and now Fastlane. SmackDown's been really interesting these last couple months with The Miz and Shane McMahon doing their storyline thing. I haven't really been feeling it. I know some people are excited about it because it's Shane McMahon, and The Miz is always entertaining. But obviously this Sunday they take on the Usos. My bold prediction for that is the Usos win, and that feuds into a feud between Shane and Miz at WrestleMania. But I want to talk about more exciting things, and that are the NXT call-ups. The NXT 4, as I refer to them as. Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Aleister Black, and Ricochet. But I have to really focus on Aleister and Ricochet right now, because they are the ones going into this Sunday with the tag team title shot against the champions, the Revival, and the other challengers, Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. Now, I was at Van Andel Arena when the Revival defeated Roode and Gable for the tag team titles. And I have to say, it's probably one of the best tag team matches I have ever seen in person. And, it's kind of a funny thing. For a long time, the tag team division has been kind of stale, kind of sour, not a lot of emphasis put on it. But now, heading into WrestleMania season, we're seeing the emphasis put more back on the tag team division. And this Sunday, I really look forward to seeing what these three teams can do. I'm hoping Aleister and Ricochet win, but I think going into WrestleMania, the Revival's got to hold those titles. And, speaking of emphasis on tag teams, the women's tag team division. Bayley and Sasha won an incredible Elimination Chamber match to become, some say it's the first ever, but the reintroduction of the women's tag teams titles in WWE. And this Sunday they take on Nia Jax and Tamina. And I think it'll be a good match. You always got to love those mismatches of the smaller competitors versus the bigger competitors. I think all four of them will have a really good showing. But going into WrestleMania, I do believe the Boston Hug Connection will be the champions, but we'll have to stay tuned to find out who their opponents are. Two titles that are not being defended this Sunday for some unknown reason are the United States Championship and the Intercontinental Championship. But I want to begin with the United States Championship. This past Tuesday at SmackDown, R-Truth had another open challenge for the United States Champion, dedicating it to his hero, John Cena. Unfortunately, he didn't get a one-on-one match. He got stuck in a fatal four-way match with Samoa Joe, Andrade, and Rey Mysterio. Now, unfortunately for R-Truth, Samoa Joe is the new United States Champion, which presents a lot of questions heading into WrestleMania. Who does Samoa Joe face? Does he get the luxury of a one-on-one match, or is he stuck in the same position that R-Truth was? My personal opinion, I think it's going to be a multi-man match. I think you have to have Rey involved, Andrade involved, maybe R-Truth gets put back in there, and maybe two more guys. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but there is a lot of great talent on SmackDown right now that would love to get their hands on the U.S. title. And the other title not being defended this Sunday is the Intercontinental Championship, currently held by Finn Balor. Finn's been involved with feuds like Bobby Lashley, Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre. It's kind of been a revolving door with those three guys. But I want to see something new out of Finn. My thought was from a couple weeks ago when he teamed up with Ricochet, Finn Balor versus Ricochet at WrestleMania. Why not? It'd be two extraordinary athletes versus two really one and onlys if you think about it. And it'd be a phenomenal matchup. So hopefully we get our match between Finn Balor and Ricochet. This Sunday, the women's division has two very essential matchups heading into the road to WrestleMania. We're going to start on the SmackDown side of things because really SmackDown, I'm not feeling it very much. Asuka's taking on Mandy Rose for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And no offense to Mandy Rose, but I don't think she's ready. Asuka needs somebody that can strike against her, hang tough in a fight against her. And I honestly think Mandy Rose's tag team partner, Sonya Deville, would be a better choice. So honestly, I see this as an easy win for Asuka. If not, then I will be very surprised. Going into WrestleMania, Asuka really doesn't have a lot of opponents to choose from. It's kind of a weird situation with how Raw is getting all the attention. But going into WrestleMania, at WrestleMania, I see Asuka's opponent being Lacey Evans. The rating's been kind of on the wall for a while now, especially when Lacey came out in the middle of Mandy and Asuka's match and basically helped Mandy get the win. So, I mean, I'm not excited about this match. It's no disrespect to either competitor, but I think now is not the time for this matchup. But what we have time for is Charlotte and Becky Lynch. These two will go one-on-one this Sunday. If Becky wins, she gets added to the match between Charlotte and Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. Personally, I'm not surprised by this either. I think all along it's been meant to be a triple threat match. These are the three hottest women's competitors on the roster right now. So Sunday, really not expecting any swerves or shocks or surprises. I think Becky Lynch will find a way to win this. But the more interesting thing going into this now is Ronda Rousey turning heel on Monday Night Raw. I think it's a long time coming. I think it should have happened sooner. The crowd really wasn't buying in to her being this goody-goody type girl, especially when she was a complete badass in the UFC. And so when I saw Ronda Rousey come out this past Monday, guns blazing, that is the Ronda Rousey I've been wanting to see. So going into WrestleMania, it's kind of an interesting dynamic because now you have Rousey as a heel, Charlotte, who's been a heel, and Becky, who has heel tendencies. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic. Like I said, I don't see Becky losing. I do see Ronda maybe making an appearance after Becky wins. But come April 7th, we're going to see a triple threat match for the Raw Women's Championship. So going into this Sunday, there are two, what some might say, marquee matches. I think there's one marquee match, but we'll talk about the Raw's marquee match, and that would be the Shield reunion. Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, taking on the three powerhouses of Bobby Lashley, Baron Corbin, and Drew McIntyre. I'm always up for a Shield reunion. I like the Shield. I think the Shield's cool, kind of hip. Fans like it. But I think it's forced this time. There's been a lot of speculation about Dean Ambrose leaving WWE. Is it a work? Is it legit? Is he coming or is he going? And this could be a ploy to help Dean stay. I don't know. I personally don't really care for the match because I feel Drew McIntyre should be doing other things like challenging for the Universal title or challenging for the Intercontinental Champion. Baron Corbin hasn't been in a meaningful feud in I don't know how long. And Bobby Lashley, well, he had the Intercontinental title, and now it seems that they don't know what they want to do with him. One person that's missing from all of this, Brock Lesnar, who was defending the Universal Championship at WrestleMania against Seth Rollins. The road to WrestleMania is supposed to be like key moments, key spots, build-up, big build-up, and like things that you remember going into WrestleMania. How are you supposed to remember the build-up to the Universal Championship match if your Universal Champion doesn't show up on either pay-per-view along the road to WrestleMania? So, the Raw side, for me, it's not interesting to me right now. And until Brock shows up and starts doing more things with Seth, I'm not invested. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if you weren't either. So, moving on from Raw, because Raw to me is kind of a cluster right now, heading into WrestleMania. I want to talk about the SmackDown side of things. The WWE Championship match between Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens. Now, originally, it was supposed to be Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston had a stellar performance at the Elimination Chamber, pinned Bryan, the very next week, and he's supposed to be the new #1 contender. Well, out comes Mr. McMahon in typical Mr. McMahon fashion, basically giving Kofi the same role that Daniel Bryan had 5 years ago of being the underdog and not being believable and not being a main event player. And Mr. McMahon replaces him with Kevin Owens. Now, I like the matchup between Kevin Owens and Daniel Bryan because they do have a lot of history together. Daniel Bryan's first match back last year was a tag team match with Shane McMahon as his partner and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn on the same side. However, I'm hoping, and I know a lot of other fans are hoping out there, that this minor setback for Kofi is leading to something bigger. Kofi's been with WWE for 11 years, has never gotten a one-on-one WWE Championship match. So I'm really hoping that coming out this Sunday, that Kofi Kingston is involved with the WWE Championship match at WrestleMania. Because if not, WWE made a big mistake. And unfortunately, WWE sometimes makes mistakes too often. So we'll have to find out and see what happens this Sunday. So going into this Sunday, I've ran down all the matches, ran down a lot of the storylines going on. I'm not feeling Fastlane. Maybe it's because it's another pay-per-view before WrestleMania, but I'm also disappointed because there are some major players missing on this pay-per-view. People like Braun Strowman, The Bar, The Hardys, the list goes on and on. And so for me, I don't like Fastlane. If it were up to me and I was in charge of WWE's pay-per-view schedule, it would be Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, aka No Way Out as it used to be called, and then WrestleMania. 2 pay-per-views between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania are way too much. Now people are like, well, what are you going to do with Elimination Chamber? Well, schedule Elimination Chamber out for late February, early March. So you have a month build up for Elimination Chamber after the Royal Rumble and not a whole 2 weeks. And then after Elimination Chamber, you have a month build up to WrestleMania. To me, I think I get what they're doing is they're trying to sell the network. I understand the business. I understand the money side of it. But at the end of the day, too many pay-per-views, not enough build-up. So I'm hoping going forward that they learn from this and that there will be one pay-per-view in between WrestleMania and the Royal Rumble. Aside from Fastlane this coming Sunday, I think the road to WrestleMania has had a really good build-up to it. I think we're headed to a place this coming WrestleMania that we haven't been to in a long time. I tell people recently that this WrestleMania feels like all the wrongs are going to be made right with things that have gone on over the past, 4 to 5 years. The right people are getting the right spots. I think Triple H's influence on the overall product is starting to show. And so I've really been enjoying TV lately. Seems like something new is happening every single week. And the surprise and suspense factor is the best it's been in a long time. So going into WrestleMania after Fastlane, there's so many things that we could look forward to. Some of them I talked about already today. And you know what? We're going to talk about them come WrestleMania week. But, this Sunday we have to get through Fastlane. Is it a pay-per-view I'm excited about? No. Is it a pay-per-view that's necessary? WWE might say yes. I think otherwise. But after this Sunday, get ready for some exciting TV over the next 4 weeks. And with that being said, my name is Hollywood Joe From Hollywood's World of Sports, reminding you as always, controversy doesn't come without criticism. Be sure to check us out at hollywoodsworldofsports.com.